Brett Richter here at the CPTC in Beausejour, Manitoba. It is race weekend, and it's fantastic outside. The weather's beautiful, the sun is out, the track is in fantastic condition. So we're taking a little bit of time on Friday morning to meet some of the drivers that are participating in the race weekend. And I've got a very honorable time to sit and talk with a good friend of mine, Mr. Joe Schneider. So welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you race the Outlaws, and the Outlaws they're different.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Is there any other way to describe them but different?
No, it's a whole new experience for anybody that thinks they want to go racing. It's different than any dirt car, snowmobile, any type of racing that I've ever done. So
absolutely. Where did that concept start?
That's a good question. John Hooper was the first one to kind of come up with it, and Gary Moyle and him kind of sat down and started some things, and then Rich Pickle got involved a little later on, and that's where it really started to take off. So
how many years has that class been around?
This is the start of my 14th year.
In an Outlaw?
Yes.
Wow, I was going to say 10 years.
Nope. And this is the very first place we raced.
So you've got some history here.
Yep, unfortunately, yes. Some very cold history, too.
Yes, it's chilly here. Describe the Outlaw to somebody that doesn't understand snowmobiling quite as much.
Well, if you've ever seen sprint car or midget racing, it's very close to that. We're in a cage, we're in a seat, we got steering wheel, gas pedal, brake pedal. We're not sitting on a snowmobile. We kind of designed it more to get some of the dirt track people out instead of just snowmobile people.
Sure.
Since most of their trailers are sitting around empty all winter long anyways, we thought we'd try to give them something to do.
Sure. Do you think it's been successful from that standpoint?
We've had our ups and downs.
Yeah.
Reinventing the wheel is not the easiest thing in the world, and this was a complete reinventing of the wheel. The first time we were here 14 years ago, I couldn't go 50 yards without spinning out. By Sunday when we were that week, we were pretty good. We actually put a race on.
Nice.
Now we put some pretty good races on,
right.
But it's taken some growing pains.
What's changed really from the initial design to today that makes them more competitive, more drivable?
Probably most of it is that we learned how to drive them.
Okay.
Making your transition between your on throttle and off throttle much more smooth. They react very quickly. They're heavy. The harder you drive them, the better they actually react.
Interesting.
Yeah, the tentative people are the ones that really have a hard time with them. And when you try to tell somebody to drive into the corner a little further, that's not always drivers don't like to hear that.
Yeah, that's right. Falls out of their comfort zone real fast.
It does. Yep. Especially on a big place like this.
Right. The Outlaws use a rolling start. Every other
Correct.
class runs the starting line,
Yep.
Flag drops. What's the theory behind that?
Well, we want to try to do something a little different than everything else right off the bat. First off, and the second part is they are big, heavy machines. They're not made to start, from a dead stop. We'd tear up the track really bad if we did that, and then we'd have a lot of issues with that.
Right.
So it's much easier on the track if we do a rolling start. And being different, that's always been my key of trying to make this whole thing different than a snowmobile racing deal.
Sure. So what's the rules on the rolling start? Because I know I've seen you at the back of the pack in the start, and when the green flag goes off and before we get to the first corner, somebody in the number 1 Outlaw seems to be much further ahead than...
Well, when the green flag waves, you get to go. I mean, that's...
Doesn't have anything to do with the artificial line on the ice?
No.
As soon as you see the flag, everybody's going?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really how you have your sled set up that it takes off when you step on it from that point.
And do you share that information with your competitors?
Absolutely not. I've shared way too much because now they're a lot closer than they used to be.
Joe is one of the top Outlaw drivers in the Outlaw 600 class and really travels extensively around the country with his Outlaw. We were talking a little bit earlier that you even made the trip out to New Brunswick last year.
Yes, we did, out to Woodstock. So.
And that was a 34-hour venture?
Yep.
Yeah, and how many competitors were out there?
They had 8 of the main guys out there, and then we had 3 from here.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great to make that trip.
We had a good 10-12 is really a good, much more than that, being a short race, when if we only have 5 laps or 7 laps, it gets too, because everybody tries to do it on the first corner then.
Right.
If you got a little longer, you can be a little more patient. And,
Sure. Yeah. Understood. Joe is kind enough, too, to bring his helmet with him, which we were talking about earlier as well. Interesting that you run tear-offs. I haven't seen any other class in the ice oval world that's running a tear-off on their helmet.
well, me being from the dirt, I've always run them from day one when I started 13, 14 years old. I've always ran tear-offs. So it's very common for me and very normal. So when we get into a lot of snow dust, it helps a lot to be able to get it off of there very quickly. And
Do you think that's something other classes should consider?
I don't. I've never driven and raced a snowmobile.
Right.
I wouldn't be qualified to answer that question. I have no idea.
Interesting.
It might. I mean, I see them take their hands and wipe their shields all the time. I don't know. They're taking their hand off the steering column anyway. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yep.
But you also have a Hans device with your helmet. Speak to us a little bit about that, because I know that's a topic that's out there in the race community, but not fully embraced
Well,
yet.
one of the big reasons I do is because I already have fused vertebrae in my neck. I've been upside down many times in a sprint car and midgets and rung my bell too many times. So I'm a little more cautious. I was told never to race again a long time ago, but
Yeah.
came back. After my daughter was old enough and off to college, I'm like, okay, I'm going back racing. And so I'm a little more cautious. I have a full capture seat, which very few people have. But I did ring my bell pretty good at Eagle River. And had a pretty bad concussion a couple years ago when I won the thing. But
Yeah.
so I went to a full caption seat.
Do everything you can do now. Obviously, your helmet is a little bit bigger than the standard motorcycle helmet would be that some of the racers
Yep.
use as well. So, yeah.
And it is carbon. I run the lightest thing I can for I don't. So.
Yeah, that's quite the piece of equipment there. So, takes a lot of people to go racing. Yeah, have you got some sponsors you want to thank?
Yes, I do. First off, we'd really like to thank Eagle Outlaw Chassis. Him and his wife, Michelle, Bob Richardson and Michelle Richardson, have helped us out completely and helped me get going. Built me, well, this will be my third sled from him. Chris Doyle, down home. Woody's Traction, Articat, depending on what's all going on with that right now, but they still have been helping me for all these years. And basically just my wife and family have let me get away and go racing, and some of my employees that stick around home for me to go play, and they're home plowing snow right now for me. So
Right. Yeah, got to have those kind of people in your
Yep,
corner.
absolutely.
Yeah. Is this a new sled this year?
Yep.
It is, huh? So you got any test time on it yet?
Nope.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to let Joe go because testing starts soon.
That's what today is for.
All right, we're going to wrap it up with the FXR Fast 10. You ready?
Sure.
You prefer spring or fall?
Fall.
You rather have a Christmas breakfast or a Christmas dinner?
Dinner.
You rather have a jet ski or a motorbike?
Motorbike.
Prefer paper or plastic?
Paper.
Charmin or Angel Soft?
Charmin.
If you were in the class, would you prefer a dating app or would you be old school?
Old school.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Under Armour or Nike?
Nike.
Netflix or Hulu?
Neither.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or Snickers?
Snickers.
This is not going well today.
Oh, yeah.
Best of luck this weekend. Always great to catch up with you.
Thank you.
So that's Joe Schneider, driver of the #1 Outlaw 600 here in Beausejour.